What is up, and welcome to the Underground. It is Ned, joined by Tim, King of Soils. Tim, how you going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm really excited, man, because you guys are heading our way with Static X in not too long at all. First up, we were about to talk about it then, but I want to. How long has it been since you've been here in Australia?
2014 Soundwave Festival.
Oh, so you were at 2014 Soundwave. So it's almost 10 years, man. How hype and excited are you guys to get back out here?
Oh, we can't wait. It's been, yeah, like you said, it's been almost 10 years, about 9.5 at this point. So we're really excited to get back. This will be our third time in Australia, so we're looking really forward to it.
Oh yeah, it'll be all sorts of awesome, man. First time for me, first time for a bunch of people I know too. So we're gonna get to see that soil experience. But first thing I wanted to ask you was, what's your sort of first thing you think of when you think of Australia?
Well, I'm a huge avid ocean and reef fanatic. So the first thing I always think of is the Great Barrier Reef because I have reef tanks at home and I've always been a ocean enthusiast and coral reef enthusiast. So that's like the ultimate thing I think of. Secondly, of course, what all of us dumb Americans think of is koala bears and kangaroos.
Man, I like the first bit better. So what, you get into scuba diving and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I love that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, the last two times I was in Australia, since we were on tour and you never really have time, I wasn't able to go, snorkeling or diving in the Great Barrier Reef, but it's definitely on the bucket list.
Man, any chance this time?
Gonna try to squeak something in. I mean, I at least want to just throw on a snorkel and just go out there for a little bit, even if it's going to be cold.
Yeah, and I think it is this time of year. I've only been to the Great Barrier Reef once, I think, and it's nowhere near where I'm at. But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely on a bucket list of mine.
Now, man, onto the music side of things. I see you guys have been rehearsing Scars. How good is it to get back into the studio, and what can we sort of expect when you get out here? Are you going to be playing that album in its entirety, or is it going to be a mixed bag, or what's the go?
It's going to be all songs from the album Scars. Since we are direct support to Static X, the time limit that we have, it's not going to allow us to play the entire record, but it's going to allow us to play the majority of it. And it's all songs from the album Scars. We've actually been rehearsing over the last couple of weeks for it. And it's really neat to get back into some of those songs that we either haven't played in close to 15 years or there's a couple in there that we've never played live before. So it's been kind of a treat that than playing just kind of the same old songs and picking from the same batch that we have. So it's going to be an interesting evening. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. And what sort of your takes on that there? I know Scars was probably your biggest album. What's your sort of takes on just playing tracks from that? Do you mind because you've released a bunch since then, or you're cool with just playing that, or would you prefer to mix it up a little?
I mean, for what we're doing here, I mean, we've never done a concert where we've just played selections off of one album before. This is the first time we've ever done it.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about doing it on the 20th anniversary of Scars, but COVID hit, so it
Mm.
kind of pushed that back. But I think it's going to be fun for the fans because it was definitely our biggest record. It was the record that propelled us into the mainstream. It was the record that gave us a gold record in the States and a silver record in the UK, and just put soil on the map more or less. And it's going to be interesting, I think, for the fans to go back to that point in time where we were just playing songs off that record back in 2001, 2002, and we're going to kind of take a little time warp back to where it all began.
Yeah, it's very much going to have that feel to it too, with Static X playing as well. So, like we keep saying, just super excited for it. But man, you Play It Forward album, like I really enjoy that too, with a whole bunch of covers on there. Is there any covers that you haven't done yet that you'd like to sort of get amongst?
Well, we've never been a cover band in our entire career. We've done two covers. It was Black Betty,
Yeah.
and then we did a cover of Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, which never got released until a greatest hits record. So we've never been a band that's ever done covers before. And when we got approached with the opportunity to do a covers album, we thought it would be, kind of a cool thing, to pick some songs that had influenced us throughout our career and put a soil twist on it and use our down tuning with it.
Yeah.
And it was fun to do, but it was a lot of work because, you listen to a song. We did Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie, and you listen to that record and you kind of think it's just a one-trick pony, a dun 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 dun. But when you really start diving into it to learn it and everything, there's so many like sound effects and bells and lightning crackles and screams and all this kind of crazy stuff. And over the choruses, there's a different solo each time. So I mean, that was actually, we walked into that song thinking it was going to be a piece of cake, and it turned out to be one of the hardest songs for us to record. So, I don't know if we'd ever do a full covers record again. I think it was something fun to do in our career, but I think we picked a really good assortment of songs. And how we did it was we said, okay, we have to pick 11 songs, and one of them is going to be a re-record of Black Betty, because the original Black Betty was kind of a lo-fi recording that we did way back when. And so we decided that we'd update that and make it with a bigger production. And then we, could pick 10 more songs. So each person in the band, we said, listen, everybody pick out a bunch of songs that you'd like to play and email them to each other. And we'll see if there's any doubles or triples or quadruples or whatever. And there were a couple songs where it was unanimous. There's a couple that had 3, a couple that had 2, and then we kind of had to flip a coin for the rest. But I think we picked a nice assortment of songs and put our own twist on them.
Yeah. Oh man, the music more than speaks for itself right there, Tim. And like, it's fantastic that you did release that album. But what's the sort of takes on when you'll be releasing your own sort of soil originals again? Are you working on any music now? I know a lot of bands had a lot of downtime during that COVID period that you were mentioning earlier. Did you guys record anything then, or what's sort of up next on the way of new music?
Well, we got contracted to do 2 albums back to back. One album of all covers and one album of all originals. So we recorded a total of 22 songs, and the covers came out. The all originals is slated for later this year. And it's kind of a very surprise twist that I can't really reveal right now, but in the next month or so, it'll come out to what exactly it is. And it's pretty cool. We got the opportunity to do 2 really cool back-to-back records. It was a lot of work, 22 songs in the studio, and we went nonstop for 2 months doing it. So we definitely used our downtime during the pandemic to get some stuff done. But there'll be more on that pretty soon. It's getting pretty close to the time when we can let the cat out of the bag and talk about exactly what's on there, how it was done, and what it's going to be called, and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, that's crazy right there. That's awesome news, Tim. It'd be cool if, like, we could get a little sneak peek of that at Australia. I'm guessing that's not going to be the case, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's the All Scars All Tour, so you're going to get all the Scars songs, but no sneak peek of any of the others.
Sorry, you were saying silly Americans before. There I go. There's a silly Australian thing. We're throwing a brand new track on the All Scars. Hey man, you're a very busy guy, and I only discovered your side project literally yesterday. I'm researching for this interview. I'm like, oh man, he's in a death metal band called Embryonic Autopsy. Man, that's like a straight up punch in the face, that album, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, me and our guitar player Adam and Soil had a band way back when called Oppressor, and we were teenagers when we had it, and I sang and played bass on it. And when we formed Soil, my death metal vocals didn't quite go along with what we were doing, so we had to find a singer, and I found Ryan, and the rest is history. But I kind of always had the death metal in my blood, and a friend of mine came to me and wanted to do a death metal record. So I kind of dusted off the old pipes, and we put together Embryonic Autopsy. And it was just supposed to be something for fun, but it took on a life of its own. And, we got a separate record deal for it, a publishing deal, tour offers, some people from some bigger death metal bands like James Murphy and Terrence from Suffocation went solos on it. So did Doc Coyle, who's in Bad Wolves, along with God Forbid. and it just took on a life of its own. We've had a blast with it, and it's become really popular, like out of nowhere. It's one of those things where if we really put a lot of heart and soul and time and effort into it, it wouldn't have done anything. But we did it, purely, shot from the hip and had a good time with it, and all of a sudden it started to take off. It's you know kind of
Yeah.
kismet in that sense.
That's fantastic, right there. You're a busy guy in two bands, man. Like, what's the future hold for them? Are you going to release another album fairly soon? They come out last year, was it, or was it the year before?
It came out last year. We actually have a full another record written, which we're going to record this summer, and then uh, by the time it takes to press up vinyl and CD and stuff, it probably won't come out till early 2024. But we'll see. So yeah, between Soil and Embryonic Autopsy and my record label Pavement Entertainment, I'm quite the busy guy these days.
Oh, most definitely. And yeah, Embryonic Autopsy, people checking this out need to check that. And the album artwork, Tim, something else right there too. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Wait till you see the second record. We already got the cover album done, and much more gruesome titles, much more gruesome cover art. So it's the death metal way, as they say.
Yeah, and you prove it too. I always say it, like metalheads are always the nicest people, which is very people never believe it. You're like, this guy, really nice guy, and you expect, you never judge a book by its cover, I guess is what I'm trying to say, Tim.
Yeah, we try. I mean, we're just rock fans ourselves, and we're just very happy to still be doing what we're doing all these years later.
Yeah, most
Uh,
definitely, man. I was just going to say, just changing things up onto you personally, found out you're a bit of a scuba diver and stuff earlier, and you being a big time metalhead, I want to grab a surprising fact that might spin your fans out to know about you. Because, like I was saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. I'm not looking at you going, oh man, there's a guy I'm going to see wanting to snorkel in the Great Barrier Reef, to be honest.
well, oddly enough, before our original, band Oppressor that me and Adam had got signed, I was actually going to go to school to become a marine biologist,
Wow.
and I had already had applied to the University of Miami, Florida, and got accepted. And then all of a sudden, Oppressor got offered a record deal, and I was like, "Well, how often are you going to get a record deal? I can always go to college." And I'm like, I'm going to try this out for a while, and then here I am, all these years later, still doing music. So I guess something worked.
Oh, most definitely, man. That's crazy though. That is one of the best answers to that question I've had in all the interviews I've done. That spun me right out. And you guys based in Chicago, right?
Yeah. The band's originated in Chicago. Me and Adam are still here. Our singer Ryan's out in the UK. He married a
Oh, there you
gal
go.
out there and moved out there with her. And then our drummer TJ, he's from Tennessee.
Oh, there you go, man. Well, I was going to ask you because, in Australia, I just sort of think Chicago Bulls, married with children back in the day.
Oh yeah.
What are your what's your takes on Chicago? It seems like a great city, the windy city.
Well, to be honest with you, I've lived here long enough. I'm a warm weather type person, and why my parents or ancestors or whatever decided to move out, you know, in the Midwest region of the United States, I have no idea, because the winters are absolutely brutal with snow and sleet and hail and all that, and then the summers are unbearably hot. I'm definitely more of a California type person, Florida, Australia type person. I like the warm weather, a little bit of a change of seasons, but uh, yeah, I eventually I definitely want to get out of Chicago and you know get out to the more parts that are on the ocean, somewhere in California or Florida or South Carolina or something. I'm over Chicago, I guess you could say,
I
but it
love
is a
that.
great town.
I love that. I'm trying to sort of hype up this city, and you're like, I'm moving as soon as I
I mean,
can.
for tourism, it's great. I mean, it's I think the third or maybe second or third largest city in the United States. So there's a lot to do and a lot of culture and a lot of history here. Being a native that's lived here all my life, I'm over it. So I'll
No,
I'll switch I'll switch with you if you want.
yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat, man. I noticed you guys have got a skateboard too, just changing things up there, Tim. It wouldn't surprise me now. Do you skate yourself?
I tried it once when I was about 9 years old, and I have a huge scar right on my arm from it.
Oh, look
And
out.
I went sliding down the driveway after I fell off of it and never got on one again. But
Wow.
this great skateboard company called Volatile came to us and said, "Hey, why don't we make a soil skateboard?" And we've had pretty much the soil logo on everything you could imagine: cups, keychains, wallets, patches, jewelry, everything. We never had one on a skateboard. I mean, we've had shoes that have the soil logo on it. So we figured it'd be a cool thing to do. And, you know, even if you're just you know, a non-skateboard enthusiast, you can order it without wheels and hanging on the wall and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So it seemed like a pretty fun thing to do at the time. So we went with it.
oh man, I love it. You can pre-order it now. Volatileskateboards.com/soil if you want to get those ones out. Tim, very much appreciate you taking time out, man. You can catch these guys. It is Soil live with Static X, heading our way Friday, May 19 in Melbourne, May 20th in Sydney, and May 21st in Brisbane. First time in almost 10 years. Grab those tickets at thephoenix.au/Static X and hit them up on Facebook, facebook.com/soil music, instagram.com/soil _official and twitter.com soil the band. Tim, really appreciate you taking time out, man. It has been a bunch of fun and yeah, very much looking forward to the tour.
Oh, can't wait. Hope to see you at the shows. And if we run into each other, let's grab a couple pints. I'm definitely looking forward to some of that Australian beer.
Oh man, love it. I will definitely be there in Melbourne, May 19. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you there. And thanks again for the interview. I really appreciate it.